Schwartz
Sorts here.
and Sparrow
Hi.
for the red section of the Arknights Volume 1 review. So we saw yellow, we saw green. They've both got some stuff going on, and we've talked about a couple of things that are going to be fixed in them. And red, well, I mean, look, red has standby, so like it's got to be like the most busted shit ever, right? Speaking of, let's just move right into our first card. So this is Blaze, one of her swimsuit outfits. Not an official skin in the game, the bastards. Continuous, this card cannot side attack, and climax combo when this card attacks, if her standby is in the climax area, and you have another traded character, during that attack, perform a trigger check 2 times on the trigger step.
There's no flavor of that.
I don't like this. The fact that she doesn't side attack is pretty Blaze as far as things go. Like that chainsaw just goes places and it does not stop. But like Twin Gyro specifically is kind of just not really particularly fitting, especially because this was just like a standby combo profile.
Yeah, this is the set to Rimmer combo, which I really like as a combo. Actually, I think it sort of threads the line of being a quote unquote normal combo that makes sense to be on a standby, but it doesn't feel like it's going too overboard. Like with stuff like Mushoku, where it's literally just a normal classic combo on a standby, which I think it's a bit too much. And they've done way more like that later. But I think this is like it's just what it needs to be. It makes sense because you're taking twice, so you're getting more standbys. It is like an extra resource, but it's not going too hard. It's just giving you a stock, and it's not even letting you clean it because there are versions of this combo that are worded in a way where you can pay out stuff. I really like the actual combo, so that's fine. Like I think it's actually pretty good as far as standby is concerned. The main issue I had with this combo always was that it's really small.
Yeah.
So you had to build your deck specifically instead of focusing on big attackers like usually. With slime, you focused on summoning out big protective defensive cards like the 2/2 Guild in order to protect your small guys, which it was pretty interesting to be fair. Like it made for a much more different standby deck than you usually see. But yeah, it definitely feels awkward sometimes, especially because it's specifically that it cannot side attack, which means you can't even side if you're smaller. You have to find a way to be bigger when you attack at least. But yeah, I think this is just a good, probably B plus combo, probably an A. I don't know. I just think it does what it's supposed to. It's not too insane about it. I just think it's cool. Now, the problem with this is that the next card exists.
This would it just needs something else going on with it. Like this just isn't a Blaze combo. This is like a standby combo, but it's not Blaze's standby combo. It just does not quite get there. And considering that this is going to be the standby combo she gets, it needs to do something a little bit different. Now, admittedly, this current draft does not have that as the only combo she gets, because we also have.
I like the name.
Yes, change to gold. Okay, when this card is placed on the stage, heal and resonate, pay 3, put card to hand from when you to your room, and reveal with this card. At the end, this card's attack is standby to climax area. You pay costs do look up to 3 cards top of your opponent's deck. Just as 3 characters with X or lower total power from among them. Put them into the clock in any order, and put the rest to the winning room. X is equal to the power of this card.
It definitely goes blue.
I mean, one of the things Blaze says that she likes doing is destroying bunkers and stuff. Kind of going for your opponent's deck kind of fits. Just trying to interpret this.
It really is just like big ass chainsaw.
I'll give it.
So yeah, the set has Mikey. I think it's Mikey.
Yeah, this is just Mikey. To be fair, I really like the Mikey combo. It's a very interesting concept. As I said in the previous episodes, Tokyo Revenge has really reignited my passion for this game. But I don't know why we have Mikey in the same climax as an already pretty good combo in the Rimaru level 1 we had before. And also there is like no the revealing in hand in Tokyo Revengers is supposed to be they have quite a few cards that are like reveal specific Mikeys in your hand. It's supposed to be a sort of the idea that the leader is inspiring everyone. And I don't know if there is a specific reason for why this is revealing herself in here.
Pretty sure it is
Yeah.
just the way that card was
Yeah,
written
it's
as well.
because that's what Mikey is. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Like when it goes off, it really goes off. So I think it should be an A, but it has its weaknesses. It relies on power. It has a pretty hefty cost. You're also forced to have an extra copy in your hand and stuff.
Ironically, this combo may have been the most substantial payoff we've seen to like a stocking strategy or something. The resources that are in the set to try to like build up a stockpile so that you can just kind of go off with. This would probably be the primary beneficiary. Actually, maybe give you a chance to like triple field this and go through the combo 3 times. The primary issue I see with it, beyond the fact that it's just like a double combo, is that simultaneously this fits so well to her character. But
I guess chainsaw. I don't, when I'm saying chainsaw, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, you're going deep, and this is sort of like going deep.
Yeah, just like sheer amount of like damage, like that ability to just kind of clock 3 guys from the top of your opponent's deck. It's fine, and then you hit them for more damage. But
I guess a different way, a potential different way to go with this is maybe some sort of icy tail thing, or even because it's like the chainsaw is shredding through the deck and going deep, and if you go really deep, you do more damage. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I get from a chainsaw, personally.
don't worry, we have that covered too. Blaze is in this set primarily to be doing like shit like that, but like it's just that she has this extra combo, and this is another pretty high on the list of just like things I wish I didn't have to kill, but I absolutely do. Like if I had another climax slot, I would absolutely just put something else with the Rimuru level 1. Leave this as just like an additional finisher option, but I don't have that slot. Each of these colors has the climaxes that it has, and I'm not going to make another one. So this just has to be something else. That's why it gets my minus. Real shame, but it means I can put it somewhere else. Maybe somewhere more fitting for having like a little resonate package around like a leader and some subordinates, rather than just her being so much of a badass she just kind of radiates her own energy. Fortunately, her leaving doesn't leave this set without a standby finisher, because the next card is definitely a standby finisher. I do love this art. So here we have Amiya the Wrathful Flame. If her standby is in her climax area, she gets standby in her trigger icon. During your turn, if you have 2 more traded characters, she gets 4,000 power. When she's placed from hand, you heal. At the end of her attack, you can pay 1, pitch 1. If you have 2 or more other traded characters, to deal 3 damage to your opponent. How much do we want to talk about what Amiya has going on, Schwartz?
In terms of the effects themselves, I don't see anything in particular. If you're looking at the effects itself, I will say this. But the actual Emiya itself, there is a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Amiya is, at least for the first chunk of the story, she's kind of our primary character. Like, the Doctor is the self-insert, but Amiya is like the actual protagonist of Rhodes Island in a lot of ways. And this is her with a sword. She does not always have a sword. The fact that she has a sword is significant, and if you start playing the game yourself, you'll quickly figure out why. When I decided to put Amiya in, I put her in as Nino from Quints. Because when I went to sit down and start making trial decks, I looked at the then current meta Nino Quince standby list and was like, oh yeah, I'll just put that entire package in the set. This has since been heavily
I
not
don't know.
done because that's
I
just a
don't know.
foolish decision to just like port those cards in directly as a
I
trial
don't know.
deck too.
Like,
What?
I also have just a personal sort of, it's not hatred, but like Queens is the one show where after seeing it in Weiss, it reduced my want to see it. It's weird. Every other thing that I've seen from Weiss, I was like, oh, I might check this out now. Queens is the opposite. I after seeing
Yeah,
it in Weiss, I don't want to see the show at all anymore.
100%. 100%.
And
Wow.
it's weird. I don't, and it's not like these effects are necessarily that bad, but I don't know. The Queen's cards are all of them have a very bloated feeling to them. I cannot explain it.
They're
Even though
so
even if
specifically tuned and so like over tuned to be like good, and also they hyper focused into like you play the waifu decks. Like if you try to do something else,
yeah,
you're just
I
kind of
don't even
nerfing
yeah,
yourself.
I don't really mind that they have the Wi-Fi focus. I just yeah, like look at this card. Like it has four effects. Like in Wise, four effects is very uncommon. You don't see four effects. Usually it's three at most. Or if you have four, it's four very simple ones, or one of them is a downside. It's not that they necessarily do more than anything else, but they are just very specifically bloated in ways that specifically really frustrate me. I value the ability to have cards that just look and make sense immediately. I don't like giant paragraphs of just yeah, let's put that here too because why not?
Yeah, if you're gonna have the
And a lot of the
paragraphs, they
Queen's
need to make
cards, yeah,
sense as paragraphs.
yeah,
Flavor reasons.
a lot of the Queen's cards are just paragraphs where they're like, okay, yeah, let's put that on. Why not? Who cares? Like this is a good example. Like I feel like one of these effects could have just been completely removed. There is no reason why this is all both becomes a standby and is extremely massive, and heals and has a pretty well fine-tuned burn three. Like there are way worse condition combinations for burn three, but they went with an extremely fine-tuned one. I don't know. Yeah, this is a personal just problem that I have with Queens in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what it is. It is a depressingly good card.
Yeah, and for all that, and for agreeing with a good chunk of it, I still love this card. This is the standby finisher in my gate standby like baby. It just feels so good to play, especially.
And yeah, like for comparison, like there are combos in other sets where the entire climax combo is just that they become the standby trigger, and usually that's good enough for those sets to play it. Like Tokyo Revengers has that. Even something like Liquor's Recoil. It's not a very good deck, the standby deck in that, but the standby deck actually plays that when they actually play it, you know.
Yeah,
So the
so
first
it
effect
can't
is
be
already like
triggers.
tolerable for standby standards. Like the fact this is like it's basically the same logic of why you don't put two combos at once. This just has both combos in one card. So yeah, I don't know. It's just the example of why it's so bloated, and it really frustrates me.
Yeah, it's funny though
But it,
because
it
like
is what it is.
with this set, so like I know that Hades wasn't particularly big on any of the cards in the set as like a standby target, but like in this set, having those extra 4 standby triggers it feels so often like it's just kind of wasted. Like unless you build your deck
Yeah,
specifically
that's
tuned, like it's
fair.
just
Yeah,
kind of
if you
like
don't have
eh. So
the targets for sure.
yeah,
Like
it probably would be fine to just make this 9K, get rid of that trigger thing, and just it's still a perfectly good combo.
yeah, honestly, but I think that's probably fine. Yeah,
I'll think
like
about it. I probably won't change it,
like
but
even that it just annoys me that it's also like such a good fine-tuned burn three. Like there are so many different ways to do burn three that make them more costly. but they just went with the super fine-tuned one with the condition to lessen it, and they also made it end of attack so that the stock basically means nothing. I don't know.
It
Just
does
annoys
mean
me.
it's memory kickable and things like that. There is counterplay
And
to it.
yes, sir.
They could have made it when this attacks and just made it like they did. They held back at least a little bit.
No, I feel like for your average game, it's more of a benefit. I don't know. I don't know. Just I guess I remember it wasn't as much of a like the memory kick stuff only really got on after the Tokyo Avengers dual laner deck started being really popular because in that deck you would memory kick your singular big finisher guy, the Baji, and then everything would stop. And then I guess they just kind of realized that it's really good and they should just play it for everything, just in case it happens to lose to something like that. But I think before that no one really played memory kick consistently. So this didn't even come up, I think, when this was good.
That's wild. Speaking of memory and kicking things, though, both of those things are pretty important to our next card. This is Rosemontis, Become Anew. If all your characters are trait, she gets 2k power. When you play her, you heal. Climax combo, the memory condition, rest it when the door is placed in your climax area. If she is in your center stage and you have 3 or more cards with different names in memory, you can pay the cost, just the rest. To deal 3 damage to your opponent, choose a level 3 layer character facing this card and put it into your opponent's clock. This is another character we could go on forever about why memory is so significant to her.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty cool that it's the climax is memories made and it needs memory. That's cute. Honestly, given the track record you have in the set, I'm surprised that this isn't a standby. Because, yeah, this is a very slight variation of the Ruby combo, which is in itself a power crept version of the OG Megumin combo from Konosuba Set 1. So that's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's Ruby, but with the hollow memory condition, because I like that memory condition better, and I didn't really have a planned
It's
target in
interesting.
mind.
It's interesting because the Megumin was a stock show. Then we have Ruby on a standby, and this is a door. So it explores a different possibility, I guess. Somehow this managed to be the most unique out of these, which is interesting.
That is peculiar. Yeah, I think Rosemontis has a couple of more comparatively more interesting cards in this set. Admittedly, not the one right after this one. I'm
This is just
curious
solid. I don't
curious
know.
why this is an equal sign and not a plush for it.
Yeah, apart from the memory part, I just read the facts and I couldn't think of anything in particular. Maybe you can explain this one?
You know, I don't think I actually have anything that would push it over to a plus particularly. Like, outside of memory being, like, her mechanic for this set, I think the idea was this girl's destructive power is kind of to the point where doing it justice is impossible. She is terrifyingly powerful on multiple levels, and I think that I gave her this as whatever happens, something is getting fucking wrecked, and it made sense to make it the guy across from her. Also, kind of, I guess so like her attack is like she throws these like huge ass. I think they're technically swords, but they really are just more like tower shields that she's carrying around with her. Just these big, like rectangular pieces of metal. And she throws it at you, and you go fucking flying. It's kind of like she's hitting you with one of these in her full like, all right, I gotta deal with you kind of state. Just you
Yeah,
all the way back to your clock.
Yeah, she's mainly put for destruction because she's too powerful for anything else.
You either leave her back at home to like be a quiet little cat girl, or you put her in the battlefield and it is just annihilation, pure and simple. There is no in between. This is her being annihilating, and the next card is her being a cute cat girl. Because there is no in between. This is. Thank you. This is Rosemontis Life on Record. She is a search brainstorm, typical search brainstorm, and also has a separate act where you pay 1, send her to memory to get the named event in your salvage the named event, which named event is the next card we'll talk about in a minute. I feel like this card kind of does get to the heart of why memory is important without giving you the full spiel that is her operator record and some of the other events that we've had her go through. Since this set was made, she has only gotten cooler to me.
Maybe this could be a plus because he's brainstorming through her records.
Yeah, she's like going back over her diaries that she keeps because, like, if she doesn't, she's just gonna forget like everything. Tragic cat girl backstory.
Just casually dropping it.
Now, admittedly, I can't give this a plus because this isn't actually my usual go-to memory card. There's one card in this set that is just like, oh yeah, you can just meet this memory condition. Like with this by itself, this card's existence kind of just means you don't need any major package. But that card might just straight up need to be nerfed for another November reasons. Is that the signature B for Brainstorm I see?
Yeah, it's just before Brainstorm. There isn't anything special. This exists anyway.
Hololive Brainstorm, the Lammy.
Yeah.
Because Gen 5 was the first deck, literally like the first deck in Weiss that I tried to make. The reason I found my local card store was I was trying to find a place where I could get singles for that deck, like in person. And also so I could find a place to actually play with the cards I got. And I found that store, and it has been like more than a year. I guess it has been the same, roughly the same amount of time as this set was brewing. So like I feel like it's 2 years coming on now. Beyond that kind of sentimentality, though, I don't really use this card. I kind of use the event, which we can move forward into. This event, it's called Fountain Family. On play, put into your memory. It's cigarettes that goes to your memory. So, mill 2, grab a level X character from your waiting room, where X is the total level of the set cards sent for the top 2. And then she has, this event has, at the beginning of your main phase, you can shuffle the bottom card of your stock into your deck to return this card to your hand.
What?
Is that from anything?
No, I just didn't want the red deck to have to discard climaxes.
Yeah, I don't know. This is really random. And it's also a really weird effect because I don't think they would do it like this because this can randomly put climaxes back in your deck, which I think they would probably not really want you to do.
Yeah, it's probably should be something else. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, so something that's like equivalent to discarding a climax, I guess. If you don't want it to be that, don't remember exactly what that would be off the top of my head.
That or maybe
We can
instead
find
of
something.
that or instead of recycling, it actually just has a passive memory effect. I think that would also be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I just don't know if there is too much precedent for this because the cigarettes effect is baseline 1-0 event. The profile you're using here is similar to the events we saw, like I Remember You or the other one, where they are still a 1-1 event baseline. They just have the bonus effect because you need a character. So when it's a 1-1 like event that would be a 1-0 like this, the memory part with the extra memory effect should be something strong. So, and I'm not sure how strong would it need to be.
I mean,
to make up for it.
Easy Revenge exists, and that's literally cigarettes, but it has the memory condition that goes with the climax.
Yeah, that's like a pretty strong effect. It's adding to your finisher. It's not just a whatever little effect.
Yeah.
It's an effect that's the whole set is sort of built around, and it's worth paying the extra stock to get something that would be free. And I'm not sure what would it be in this case. Definitely not this. I don't even want to rate this because the second effect is really weird. I mean, it's not always powerful. It just has the potential to randomly be really stupid.
You can just leave it at a question mark and we can move on. It's all good.
Yeah.
Next card. First appearance, in text at least, of Dr. Kaltzit, Facing the Future. This card previously actually had a different art when it was on stream, but I realized that art didn't really actually show Kaltzit particularly well, so found a different one. But her effect, on play, pitch a card, grab the event or a trade character in your clock, return it to your hand, and then replace it by putting the top card of your deck into your clock. She's also a climax swap.
Oh, actually, this is bordering on an S, I think. I feel like this is too good, too useful of a second effect for a climax swap. But that's just my opinion. I mean, if this was one of the RRs, I can see it. Because we've had like examples like that where people have made really insane second effects on the climax swap, but they made it an RR, so it's like, okay, I can understand the logic. Bushiroad does that sometimes. I feel like here it's unwarranted. Like, this isn't like the best filter in the world, but it is a free filter that just exists on your climax swap. And this immediately trumps all the other options we saw for climax swaps,
Really?
as far as I see it. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the other ones have like cool little niche effects, which is what you usually see. This is an actual effect that you don't mind playing to use sometimes, even if you're stuck with extra climaxes that don't need swapping, or you're missing a card and it's in your clock, you get it. Yeah, it's not the best filter. It's not like the one Hades did where he put Rico on a climax swap. That's the most insane one.
Yep.
But he also was clear from the start that this is like my big balls to the walls power creep RR of the set.
Fuck it, we ball. It's a double R. It's still getting in the set. Yeah.
Yeah.
That does kind of solve an issue. Working out
Yeah.
the replacement for the Blaze level 3, actually. Just make this a double R. Give her a double R. She doesn't have one. And then knock the level 3 down to a single R. I actually like that. But yeah. Really the only thing that I can say for flavor is the she comes from the past, she belongs to the present is somewhere in her operator information. I could not tell you where. So then the name just kind of like flows from that. Other than that, it is just kind of, let's call it on
Yeah,
the
can
card.
I talk about Kelsa? Yeah.
Please do.
I think her design is like based on an Egyptian cat or something. It's like an ancient species of cats or something. I'm not sure. Because she's basically immortal, so she's lived a long, long time. And she hates you, the doctor, at first because of the doctor before you lost your memories. But then she warms up.
Yeah. What the fan base has done to this character is so sad to me, and I can't say that I have not contributed to it because I took fan requests, and quite a few of them included painting her in a softer, more romantic light. The fact is, like, this woman has every right to just despise the Doctor and the kind of the situation that she's been put in because of him. And the newest stuff coming out, we're actually getting the details on what it is that the Doctor did to make her so like irate at him, and it's 1,000% deserved. Not gonna lie. She also can't kill him because there's reasons for that too, and so her existence is just kind of this constant having to be around this guy who she has every right to like despise, and who several other people also despise. Other people who ostensibly are working with Rhodes Island now because they're all kind of chasing the same goal, and that goal unfortunately requires that this doctor guy, who they wish was not, they kind of need to use him. And now that he's an amnesiac, he's a bit more pliable. It worked out, but still, this poor woman, she's seen way too much. She's had to deal with way too much.
Okay, let's talk about something unrelated.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you know how Kelsa hates you at the beginning, right?
Mhm.
There's a gacha game that's about to come out. It's called Living Waves, and I heard the original story was that all the characters, including the gacha ones, hated you or at least don't trust you. But the developers changed that because if you can't like the gacha characters, you can't make money.
That's true.
So yeah,
Yeah, but people
that's a thing.
like wanted her at Calta as an operator for forever, and then they finally gave her to us. So it's like, yeah, this cat girl, she hates you. Everyone loves her. She's also a 6-star. She's a 6-star medic whose ability is to have a JoJo stand that she throws on the map, and it's like,
It's awesome.
she is also one of the first 6-star characters I got full potential on, which is really weird because she was on this. She wasn't a limited operator, but she was like I somehow managed to pull like 5 or 6 of her in gotcha pulls like super fast, and I was like, oh, well now I have this really powerful unit that I don't fully know how to use.
Wow.
I'll figure out how to use her
Wow.
then. Fun times. Less fun times are the next card. She's gonna have to see some changes for a number of reasons. This is Blaze cooling down after a workout. On play, pitch a card. Choose a level X or lower Rhodes Island operator to salvage, where X is the number of, at the moment, the level 3 combo in your waiting room. The other effect she has is that she is a pay 1 self-sack to grab a copy of the combo from your waiting room, put in your hand, which does not actually make a lot of sense for a standby deck to do, and now that that's not the combo anymore, just going to need slightly different purpose. Nothing particularly flavorful on the combo.
Was the first effect older? Because I thought they made this effect recently, well, first time.
I cannot tell you where I remember seeing this. I do know that this is a thing that exists, but I don't know where it's from.
Yeah, I thought the first time this happened was in Bones in the Rock, where they had this on a level 1.
Oh, it
And I
can't
was
be
like,
Mochi.
oh, I was like, yeah, that's a cool concept for a more restricted version of Rico that can sometimes be better. And now I'm wondering whether this existed in older things and I just didn't know about it.
I mean, it must have, because
Yeah, probably.
I know that I didn't take it from a Mochi card. I don't know where I got it though. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's also level 0 because I used this profile in my most recent set because I really liked the idea of the Botsy card, but I also kept it as a level 1 because I was like, it's probably like their balancing mechanism, right? That they have it as a level 1 so that you have to commit to a specific color or whatever, and you can't just use the level 0 to keep finding all the specific cards you need. But I guess not. I mean, I think this is still pretty good. It's not broken. It's like a very cool way of restricting the power of Rico without necessarily making it just worse, because depending on how much setup you have, it would be better because you wouldn't have to gamble. But yeah, this is a solid card, regardless of that. Honestly, if anything, personally, I would want, because the thing I liked about the Botsy one was that the target it checks for is just a generic, like decent-ish level 0 filter turn 1 card thing.
Oh,
So it's more of a splash that you can put into decks if you want to. Whereas this one is tied to a specific finisher,
okay.
so it's more restricted in that sense.
The
It
revision
loses
that I
some of.
have for this actually is it moves it into something that's more usable. I did end up keeping that first effect, but oh, I'm just checking the set profile. It's a Sao card that this was on.
I am not surprised.
Yeah,
Those have everything.
it's a Silica that was dealing with the level 3 combo.
Yeah, I guess now that I thought about it like this, that's why this is like theoretically like it's not that it was always better. It's that because this version checks for a finisher, it's a lot more restrictive in what deck it goes in, whereas the Botsy one is a lot more generic because it can go into pretty much any deck as long as you're willing to play the specific level 0 that goes with it.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Maybe that's an argument for why this shouldn't change. Then I'm not sure.
we're definitely not keeping the same target name. There's another Blaze I love, the profile of, and so giving you more reasons to play it is like totally fine with me. Leaving it like this exact profile is also fine.
Yeah, this is
I am dark
this
vision,
is
so I guess
fine.
minus.
It's strong for what it is. Yeah.
All right, so is Montes again. The aftershock of one of her attacks, and she is the memory backup profile. This card, I had this idea for it like right away when I did this, and I did not find out about the TRV one until after the Botan came out because I was trying to get people to like, hey, wouldn't that be kind of crazy? And I know at some point someone was trying to get me to actually like, hey, wait, dude, this actually exists. Like, you don't have to limit it or do anything weird with it. It's like, no. And then they released the Botan. I was like, oh, well, it's good enough for Hololive. So cool.
Yeah, that's what sort of surprised me too. Like, did you, because the timeline doesn't work out? Like, did you change this, or did you get this correct on the first try, or how did it
So
happen?
that's the thing. I think I got it right first try, and then didn't think that it existed. Like I didn't look hard enough to find the TRV one.
You got it correct down to the power. Like, I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, because
Maybe we.
this is now the Botan. This is legitimately now just I looked at the Botan and made the text exactly the same. Like it's
Okay,
which is the
how was
TRV
it
card.
before?
It had like an auto that said when you use this card's backup, if you didn't have another copy in your memory, you can send this to your memory.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just you just happened to make it like this first try.
Well, maybe I
Okay,
did,
that's
but
fair.
second try is what stuck around for the longest time.
Yeah, the tier V one is weirder because it's a 2-1. That's not the weird part. The weird part is that they felt the need to remove its soul trigger for some reason.
Oh, yeah, they did.
I was like, yeah, I don't know that. I was like, why? Like, I mean, I guess it's getting out of your deck, so you're removing non-triggers from your deck. But if this would have a trigger normally, so I don't know what the logic is exactly. It's not like it's a profile that wouldn't have a soul trigger that you're removing from your deck.
Yeah, it sounds like they
Yeah,
wanted it as like a
uh,
balancing factor, but like, what is that balancing in the
yeah,
context of
it's
the
not
card?
balancing anything.
Yeah.
There are no like memory conditions in Tokyo Revengers that are like cards in memory in general. There's like one very specific one, and that's about it. I think they just wanted to throw the idea out there and see what people thought about it.
Huh.
But yeah, it definitely contributed to the idea that Tokyo Revengers is just doing whatever the heck it wants. They're just going nuts. Like even in their common cards. Even though it wasn't good, it definitely made me go, "Ha!" So they did this. They actually did this.
Yeah.
They're doing things. They're actually trying to do things.
And this actually,
Yeah.
this does have a synergy here in this set, obviously, because we actually have memory conditions. All right. Next on the list, Amiya Ad Memoriam. She's a global 1K, traded, and act ability to draw one, pitch one. This used to have an effect I thought was going to be more flavorful, but I was told constant anti-level assist is bad as like a thing to do to someone. So it's not that. But it did just kind of leave me with like, I don't know, what else can I put here?
What it was exactly?
You were actually there for this too. I had the original ability was that it gave your opponent's characters in their center row minus 500 times their level.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
just think that's basically like a. We talked about like stun.
yeah.
That's like a floodgate almost. It's not just restricting. In some cases, it's very rare, but in some cases, that might just kill their characters. And I just think that's going too far. You're not just annoying them at that point.
If they ever print a 500 level 1 that wants to live in the center row, I totally agree. I also, it's just like it prevents no like desperation play if they only have that. This Amiya is just like, no, so it's no longer that.
Yeah. Also, I believe this card might have too much power. This one is a level assist, and the same second effect. It's 25.
But that's also generic level assist.
Yeah, it's 3K. Generic level assist. This should be 35.
Where did I get 1K? All right, that'll be cut down.
1K, yeah, 1K is the traded level assist.
Well, yeah, no, the draw ability I had listed as 1K. I have no idea.
It's the on play, maybe the on play version. I don't know. There's a
Oh,
weird relationship between the on play and the rest versions. Sometimes
right.
they're the same, sometimes
Sometimes
they are way more expensive for no reason.
Yeah, I mean this like recyclable free draw pitch, like
And
that
then,
is a
yeah,
pretty
I
good
can
filter.
see. I don't think it's bad. I think it's definitely really strong. Like just to have this on your board and do this every time. I think it's fine to be so expensive.
Well,
I think this
it'll be
is
fixed.
perfectly. Again, this is like assist out of 10. It's a good like back row card. Doesn't do anything specific, but it does good things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like just like a C back row card.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to give it the. I know there are other cards that have this, but I'm a Hollow Life head, so what I think of is the Nene card. That is pay one, send this to memory as like a field backup.
That one's a 1-0 though. So you'd have to do the scaling, and I'm not sure how the scaling is for the memory version.
Oh, because it's a different level.
Yeah,
All right, fair enough.
yeah. I think we had figured out the scaling for this normal version, but I'd have to look at the memory one to see how they change it.
It was 2500 on a level on a 1-0 with that ability.
And 500.
That's the Nene.
Okay, that was like a 500 effect, or what was it?
I put it down as 1K. I was honestly having trouble figuring it out myself.
No, I know there's a similar one that's like a pay one version. No, this is a ditch one version. Yeah, I don't know. I have to figure that out if you're going for that.
Moving swiftly along. Calls it Last Resort. For more early play, during your climax phase, when this card is placed on your stage by a standby effect, you can pay 1 to heal. And she is also a stock healer.
It also has the early play effect. Is that supposed to be there or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's an early play stock healer. And also, if you get early player with a standby instead, you can pay. Not always a thing that this card required you to do, but you can pay to heal.
I'm unsure whether they would make this a level 3 effect by itself or not. But it definitely has balancing in mind better here. It's like pay 1, and it's also only during your climax phase, so you cannot randomly get heals by triggering, and it's also very weak. Yeah, this is 1500 for that. Maybe it's fine. I mean, it's cool.
I like it. Schwartz does not like it.
B plus, I guess. I don't know. It has a lot of balancing factors, so I think it's fine.
We're into adding.
I just put minus just because I just wanted to say she sucks at healing. At least in game.
Yeah, she. God, so like you have this unfortunate dichotomy between her lore and her gameplay, because lore she's lived for like forever and a half. She's got all the medical knowledge, but they made her such a bad healer because they wanted her to focus on the guy. You know, you see this greenish monster guy back there.
Yeah, she's just called monster,
Monster.
but the spelling has a me, a 3 in the middle of it.
It confused me so much because I always forget where the 3 is actually supposed to go. But yeah, monster that she has that just comes out and is like the big thing that just goes rawr and obliterates everything. She prioritizes targeting healing it in like any circumstance where it's taken damage. If she's not doing that, she could heal one of your guys unless she's also hurt, in which case she'll prioritize healing herself too. But her heal is just like mid, if not bad. She's a 6-star medic, but she ain't no medic. And it's such a flavor fail like on their part. So it's like, all right, well, I'm not gonna carry that over. No, if she's gonna be like this super badass doctor, she's gonna heal.
She's more of a preventing injuries more than actually healing. You know what I mean.
Prevention is the best form of medicine. Six a
I
3-ton
know.
stone dog on someone.
I've played some MOBAs before. Like I've heard the argument that killing my opponents so that they cannot hurt my allies is a form of support.
Yeah, I've definitely played some support characters where it's like, my job is to make sure that you don't get hurt in the first place. Don't worry about it. But my favorite was the one that couldn't do anything but heal and just kind of ran. This is not why I'm here to talk about this video. I'm not going to talk about those dark days of my life. Moving along.
Hey yo.
We can have like a whole discussion about my weird things that I played back in the day.
God,
But it's fine.
no, I don't need to go back to that well. The well that I need to go back to is the Blaze well. So here we have Blaze cutting a path. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, look up to 3, put them back on the top of your deck in any order, and then bounce one of your opponent's characters. She also has, on attack, if you have a full board of traded characters, pay 1, put a traded character from your waiting room at the bottom of your clock, 2 Icy Tail for 4. You know, look at the bottom 4, deal X damage, X is the number of climaxes. This is why the Icy Tail mention was like, yeah, no, it's fine. This card exists. And I love this profile.
Oh, that's a specific cost.
It is.
Is that from another weird thing?
This profile is actually. It's a DAO 2 card.
Yeah, that's another one that has a lot of weird ones, but I don't know what they are because I haven't read most of them.
Yeah, this is Toka Inverted Princess. That is the profile this is taken from. And also, at least to me, Schwartz, you can chime in if you agree with this or not, but this feels in line with Boiling Burst, her skill 3. Specifically the fact that she's like injuring you kind of as an extension of injuring herself, because you know we don't have a like operator life track to go with.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah, this character has not the skill that you use her for, because most of the time you use her second skill, which basically just says, oh yeah, the chainsaw can hit people from farther away now, and it's so good. But her third skill is like her blood can act as an explosive. She just kind of revs herself up to go ballistic, and in the process she gets like this short-term burst of just like a bunch of damage. Her thing is that she's just gonna keep going. I don't particularly think that the skill is like a good use of your blaze slot, but she herself is great, and I love this profile. I need to play it more in Dal, and I hopefully will when I this is like the best off finisher that they have for a Toka deck for me, who's only been able to really play with like set 2 cards. If there's something in set 1 that's better, I do not have it available. So this is just like, behold, off finisher. Moving along to another kind of just fun profile, at least in my opinion. Mia, always working. Poor little bunny rabbit. On play pitch. Reveal its top.
Being donkey.
Don't you start. She is a goddess. She's a Banui. On play, reveal a top card after a pitch to grab a level X alert card. This profile by itself, after being spoiled by Hololive, I would rather definitely have the Rene profile. But as like an
the rain
uncommon
is
slot,
like
it's still like a good filter in a lot of situations.
no, like you don't understand. Rico is like you will commonly see this as a rare, vanilla rare. Like that's how good it is. Like in terms of what the competitive crowd wants to do because they want to toolbox their one of utility whatevers. And this is like the by far the most cost effective way to do that. Like I remember back in the day where when sets had less options, you saw this a lot less. It was more about okay, I'm playing one or two. Like in some of my older decks, if they even had a profile like this, they would play. I was playing like one or two, basically as a wild card that can function as theoretical extra copies of all of my other cards. But at some point, sets got like diverse enough and wanted to do a bunch of different things. And then you started seeing these being played as a four of like in a lot of decks. And it got to the point where this steadily rose in rarity from common to uncommon to rare. And I think some sets have it as a double rare even. I mean, and yeah, and usually they do this thing where like the vanilla versions will be uncommon or common, and then if they give it the slightest second effect, they immediately make it rare. Like even if the second effect is on attack, give 500 power to a guy, like because they say, oh, it has more utility on it. And then you have Reina, which is like I'm very embarrassed about Reina because I conceived the Reina profile for one of my own sets before Reina existed, and then 4 days after I posted that set, after I made it public, they released Reina, and I'm like,
Bushiroad
damn, they
prophecy.
stole my idea.
Yep.
And then it got even worse because then I actually got to see the profile I conceived of in practice because it was a real card now. And I realized that thing is kind of broken. I don't know. It's not like, I guess it's not bannably broken, but it is, when it works, it has this weird mentality of the rich get richer. Like if things go good,
Yeah.
you're also getting even more out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
So it feels really annoying when for the other player, I guess, and when it works for you, it's like, yeah, I'm having the best game of my life. I canceled damage and I also got the card back, and I now feel embarrassed that I came up with that thing.
What have you done? You brought this upon us.
Yeah, I used to joke that there was like an inside, there was a spy in the Discord, sort of stealing our profiles.
Yeah, I've got my own example of that coming up in blue, but
Wait, I have to show you the card because one thing my card has over the Reina is that it has a funny flavor effect on top of everything.
oh yeah, this one is the return
Yeah,
optional on Rene too.
I don't remember. I think it is actually,
Probably,
yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, yeah, normally these types of effects also have the funny parenthesis text, take care of your surroundings or something. But I forgot to put that on this.
Do you care if you're
Wait,
surrounded?
they have the
Please don't care.
reminder text.
That's ridiculous. That's
Yeah,
that's the most Japanese thing I've seen on these cards. And they have
yeah.
anime
Like
on them.
now, now I feel because I didn't remember. Apparently, I forgot to put that here, and like it would only make it funnier for sure.
Yeah.
Please take care to avoid disrupting your surroundings.
When you go back to your home planet.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so
fair.
this is blasting off like no.
Like Team Rocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really have just been spoiled by the Hololive list because like I don't even play the Rainy that much because what I do instead, I have like a couple of copies of it just because like that's the thing people do. But what I actually do is I play the Muna Brainstorm that has that as an on climax play effect. God Almighty, does that feel good? Hololive 2's like just got like the perfect confluence of material for that card to just feel so good.
Yeah, that's the because it's on a Rico that makes it a lot stupider, I guess, because
Yeah, the damage cancel. Yeah,
the thing you're getting back is not just the thing that canceled; it's like a thing that will convert into any other utility card, which
Yep.
is why Rico is so good in the first place.
Yeah, when you inevitably clock into drawing 2 climaxes or 2 level 3s, you just get to like, alright, I'd rather have a
Yeah.
playable, please. And if your set has any decent number of playable level 0 profiles, it's just like, alright, cool. I know that I grabbed this as an uncommon from probably an older set. In this set, it will sit there and it'll be fine.
I mean, it's perfectly fine. Like the vanilla ones they've been here since forever. They're doing the job.
Yeah. Moving right along to another card that does its job, we have Amiya Ambient Synesthesia. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, choose one of your characters, which gets the following ability: cross turn. This character cannot be reversed by auto effects of your opponent's characters. A thing that exists, I promise. It's also a salvage brainstorm.
This used to be more common back in the day, I guess, until they realized that they can just give them +1 level and it's the same thing. Because it's also the cost is the same. And there isn't like any special benefit. I guess there are specific situations where it might be like back in the day, some adages were just red reverse adages. Now they're memories, so that doesn't matter. It's a bit of a power card effect, but I think it's fine. Like some I've gotten use out of it specifically when I didn't want to break something because if it got too many levels, it would be broken. This is weird. It's like the fact it's a salvage brainstorm is definitely makes it. I think people would be more willing to play this as an alternative because
There's like,
yeah, usually the logic is okay. If it's a salvage brainstorm, I can work with it. You know, no matter what it is. If it's a search brainstorm, they need more convincing.
yeah,
The logic is also sometimes that okay, it's just the budget version or whatever.
yeah. This card is primarily around as salvage brainstorm because there weren't that many in the set previously, and I mean there is another salvage brainstorm, at least.
Yeah, this is just
But
different brainstorm as well.
yeah, the red fix may actually not be a thing that you need to worry about too much. Now that I realize, like you could just run the Ricos and probably that helps. But this along with it is like, oh, I need red. I have like a brainstorm opening. I can just let this in. And that's kind of what she does. She does. I'm realizing specifically get around the Corone auto effect. Like it just turns that off completely. There's the level 3 coordinate that's like when it's reversed, pay 1, pitch something to rest that and reverse the thing that reversed her. And this just says like, no,
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
not dying.
very recent effect. I didn't even think. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's like a super recent effect with a extremely old, outdated effect. So it didn't even cross my mind. But this is the Weiss equivalent of a 20-year-old Yu-Gi-Oh card being randomly really good.
Needlebug Nest strikes again.
Needlebug Nest is based. I don't care what anyone says. That's the most based card.
Yeah, this is just Amia playing the violin, which she does play the violin. And ambient synesthesia is a real life concept.
it's a concert series. Even they've done like a few of these, and they always come with these cool skins
Yes.
that they refuse to put in the video game, and it drives people, including me, insane sometimes. Like, why? Why would?
They do put some in.
Yeah, but they always leave out like one or two of the really good ones. Just like, oh, if you want to look at this character looking this hot, you either have to wait for the fan art or go watch the concert. It's like people are willing to pay you money for these. Like that's an option you have. Speaking of options and fixing things, the next card is one that I feel like I would like to fix. This is Blaze, being lead operator. All of your Chainsaw Go Burr or Drinking Him Under get plus 1000 power. All of the cards on this slide are getting revisions. She's also a rest to search brainstorm. I don't think I have to tell you, Schwartz, that this is not an elite operator worthy card.
I guess it's B minus for brainstorm. I don't know what's the baseline for a top 2. I'm not sure.
It's bad.
It is just because of the brainstorm.
Yeah. Yeah, also brainstorm isn't terribly fitting for plays in general. I wanted there to be like in a hypothetical
Yeah.
Blaze waifu situation to have that utility, but like it's not the Blaze way to think, so it just shouldn't be.
Yeah, let's just say Blaze prefers simple solutions to
This-
problems.
It's like, yeah. So obviously, what she needs to be doing is just smashing things more. Especially because this is the card that's like, oh yeah, no, she's an elite operator. She's like cream of the crap, and it's like, yeah, she's a rest 2 search brainstorm, and she's 1k power to some random guys. It's like, no, this is wrong. So yeah, moving along to a card we don't need to fix. This is a Mia with emotional absorption. My primary comment on this card is actually just that the flavor text needs to be spaced differently. Anyway, this ability activates up to 2 times per turn. When your other traded character is placed on the stage from your hand, this card gets plus 1000 power at the end of the turn. When your other character is attacked, pay 1, sack yourself, return that character to hand.
The weird thing is that the second effect, this is the JC effect. The weird thing about it is that when it's on level 1s, they are like, it's fine, it's just a non-common or whatever. But when they put it on level 0s, they tend to make them doublers for some reason.
Oh,
And it really confuses me.
Yeah.
So that's the only potential like wrong thing about this. If we're going by realistic logic, I don't see why they do that in the first place.
Yeah, that is odd. I can kind of see it, but yeah, like this is like a trial deck profile, and trial decks always live in this weird space of like they will print
Okay,
cards
like
with like the most
trial
insane
decks-
effects.
The trial decks are allowed, like they have a certain amount of power points that they are allowed to invest to make some cards like RR worthy, and then the rest will be whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's just that for some reason the level 0 JCs are really high rarity for some reason. So I feel like if this was real, it would be rare or even double rare. I could not tell you why, because the level 1 ones are low rarity.
Moving on to another simple card. This is Rosmatis Elite Operator. This is thank you. This is the Ramrus effect. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, pay 1 to choose a cost 0 lower trade character in your waiting room, put on the stage in any position, and at the end of your turn, you memory kick that character.
Yeah, this is Ramrus / Polka / those are the 2 main ones people know.
Yep.
But this is actually a lot older than that. Its initial claim to fame was Ramrus in the set 1, back in set 1 slide. You know, you want to put everything in your memory anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Funny thing is that back then they would play just a random 1-0 with 7,000 power on your turn.
What the hell?
Just to because the idea was that okay, you know, sometimes you just want a big guy.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I know I thought it was funny, and then people started calling because the card was like a random robot, and they started calling it like weird names. Someone called it the sex robot. I don't know why. And it's
Thanks,
no. The
Internet.
anecdote here is that in Whole Life Set 2, they made a 1-0 Luna that's basically the same profile as that robot, but it's 500 power stronger because it has the Luna -1 level thing, right? And I remember when it was revealed, because in my Luna deck I'm playing Polka anyway because it works very well with the idea of having just a single combo lanes. So I remember it was revealed. I went in the Weiss server and I typed like, "Oh my god, they made a Luna sex robot," and they were like, "What?" Yeah, this is the out of context. Like, what? They did what? What are you talking about? What?
Oh my god. Yeah, that is a real just like punch in the face. If you don't know anything about that, just that. I mean, not. I'm pretty sure she would approve. To be fair.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny specifically because it was like the slang of calling it was a lot more unknown than I thought it was, and it just it sounded. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
What do you?
FBI open up. But
Can
yeah, this
mention
is
something here.
Yeah. Go.
good. I'm gonna say minus, I guess.
You see in this card art that sometimes the male NPCs are drawn more realistically.
Yeah, that's true. But then also like
They don't look cool. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of funny.
Arknights has this kind of weird effect, specifically for like the Archosaurians and whatnot, the crocodile people and the lizardy people. They are much more willing to make full on just like snake-headed dudes than they are snake-headed women. While we're just talking about the gender discrepancies in the Arknights designs, but they don't have that problem with cat people, as the character I shit you not named Waifu clearly demonstrates. I don't know. Sometimes there's some weirdness. All right. Moving along. Counts it making the final preparations, because if you're putting this card on the field, you're clearly in a very desperate situation. She's a level assist for operating and support trait. She covers just about every character that exists in an Arknight set, including the ones that aren't strictly Rhodes Island trait. She also has this effect that was taken from a blue card, which makes much more sense in a blue context than a red context. Pay 1, pitch a red climax from your hand. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can choose one of your opponent's characters, and that character gets -2 soul until end of turn. I don't like it.
I don't know. I don't know. These are do these effects exist? Because like these effects read like this reads like a baby's first custom card, like in the sense that it's like, okay, I took familiar words, but I put them in the way that I want them.
Yeah, no, that second effect that does in fact exist. It is on a 7 Deadly Sins blue card, I want to
Oh,
say.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
don't know. Does the timeline work out for that? I'm not sure. Anyway.
so this is one of those profiles that I still don't like this final version. But originally Kaltzit also had a standby climax in the set because she was the other standby in the 8 standby trial deck that had a Mia Wrathful Flame as the finisher.
Mm.
But no, she had this like unique effect that I don't actually remember even what it was, because it was that far back in the design process. It was like some kind of weird spawning thing, I want to say, that was eventually changed to this because this existed, and that other effect was really convoluted and also did some weird things with the balancing across the set. And I don't like this. I can
I
see
don't know.
nowadays
I don't
because it's
even
generic
know if they
red,
have first fight.
and because there are now the door search cards. Like hypothetically, it's easier to use than it was with just standby and door being normal. But also like, why would you ever like the situational case for this is just so bad. It's just not
I
an
don't
effect
know.
you're gonna need.
Maybe I think it would. Like I don't know. In 7 Deadly Sins, it was like, okay, this is like your extra. Effectively, you're turning all of your pants climaxes into defensive counters. I know that. So I guess with the door searchers, it's as if every door you can search is like a theoretical defensive counter you would be searching in a different set. I
Hypothetically,
don't know.
but like
Yeah, that's kind of the logic.
But like
maybe.
that's a set 2 thing, and also this it just doesn't work for me. In blue, totally fine. Like because or like in green also. Like that recyclability of the climax makes that effect kind of work. This is just color shifting it to red just doesn't.
Yeah, the other thing is I'm not sure about the first effect. Usually when it's global like this, they have it as a payoff to some condition. I don't think I've ever seen one that's just global level system for completely free.
I think there might be one in slime actually.
I think I would remember it. I don't remember anything like that. I actually know the slime cards.
Maybe it is just a level assist.
The global ones are usually like a payoff. It's like I know slime. The one that slime has is like you have to marker a vanilla underneath it to become a global level assist. Tokyo Revengers has one that needs just experience 3, I think, but they have a condition usually for the global ones.
Yeah, so the actual thing is that when I mentioned that slime card, I grabbed the second effect from it as the replacement, and then realized that it's a normal assist. So that's fixed.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, or if you want to add like a simple condition like the experience one that Tokyo Revengers has, maybe you can convert that to a memory equivalent for the right gimmick, I guess. I don't know, whatever you want.
I forgot to send a picture for the previous Kelset card, which I sent it already.
Yeah, let's just for context on that thing in the back is monster. Thing is beastly. This card's basically been marked for destruction. It's already been replaced. But in some hypothetical world where someone sees this profile and is like, I really want to make that work, here it is. That second effect has been done by someone on the internet. Feel free to run with it, because I will not be. Moving along. Rose Mantis cards. This is the broken standby target. This is Rose Mantis with Psychokinesis. If your memory has 2 cards with different names, this card gets 2000 power. It has Twin Drive. Encore. Put a red or blue character from your hand into your memory.
Yeah, I was reading this and I was like, oh, that's not broken. That's fine. We've had stuff like this, and then I saw
This.
what the author actually said.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this card is legitimately insane. Playing it's fun as hell, but no, it cannot it should not be allowed to exist in its current form. It needs another
It could
limitation.
just be normal. It can just be normal Encore, honestly. Like it would actually be worse than a card that exists. Like again, we keep bringing it up, but Tokyo's Avengers is just that goated of a set. Every other's what is it? I think it's the 4th division captain. Yeah, every other standby deck, by that point had like they all had the same exact tutu that was 10k with hand encore, like, and I'm falling asleep. And then Tokyo Revengers comes out and they're like, we're not gonna even entertain the idea that you're going to play something like that. We're not even gonna have such a card in the set at all. Instead, you're getting the smiley guy over here. That's like it's the same thing. He has 1,000 less power, so you cannot just wall up as hard, but he has twin drive, so you can go more ham with replacing what died. And I'm like, yes, this is absolutely good. Like they are actually doing cool different things with the decks that we've seen 1,000 times.
This might actually be the reason this card has Twin Drive, hilariously enough.
Yeah, no, yeah, this guy's like, it's so simple too. Like it's not like we've seen like better versions of this idea after this, but like this is just like the baseline concept of, instead of making another 10k with Khan Conquer, let's just spice it up. Let's just give it twin drive with just plain old normal twin drive. Lose 1,000 power, gains twin drive, and see how it goes. Maybe it wasn't the most effective, but it was super fun. And like, yes, more of this, please. I love it. So, sorry, these videos have turned into me telling everyone how awesome Tokyo Revengers is.
Okay, this is almost a plus, just because in the actual game, each attack she does hits multiple times.
Oh yeah, especially
But
with like the aftershock thing going on. Yeah,
Yes.
I halfway forgot about that. Not gonna lie. So like, it's totally fair that it didn't make it the plus because that was unintentional.
Yeah.
But yeah, like memory on core, as cool as it is, busted.
I'm gonna have it as sus for now.
There have been drafts with this that had it as like a conditional thing or like something like that. Eventually, I just said
I
no,
think just no.
and then I
Just no.
started
Just
playing
make
with
it a
it.
normal thing.
Yeah,
Just-
I started playing with this card, and it's like, oh god, no, we can't. Another card that we can't with is the next one. Sadly for me, anyway. This is Blaze and her little bunny. All of your other characters have Mia in their card name, get plus 500 power, and she is a bond to 2 standby targets. What?
Okay, I can't even fault you. Like they legitimately do this sometimes, and it's baffling even then. Yeah, I have like a personal example of this because again, I always play like the dumb low rarity garbage decks. So in Mushoku Tensei, I was playing like the cat mates, and they have one of the support pieces. Okay, basically there's a 2/2 guy that gets a bunch of cat mates as material because they love
Yeah, I'm
doing
familiar
it
with
with
that.
cat mates. Like, again, then we have this guy which bonds to the 2/2, which helps obviously, but then he also bonds to the 1/1 standby target for some reason. You know, the Ares, it's the combo. Which, like, I'm like, that makes absolutely no sense in the context of that deck, of the catmate deck, because you don't even want to stand by anything because you have to play it from your hand. And like there is like a different, there is a completely unrelated 1/0 Ares that is like a decent level 1 that you can play as when you don't have a climax combo, which I did just because of that. Like it would be very nice if the Bonder card bonded to that Ares instead, because that would actually make sense. But no, it had to bond to your standby target for some reason in the package that no one would ever play in that deck. But yeah, sometimes even Bushro does that sometimes for some stupid reason. So I cannot fault you, like as a first-time designer. But yeah, definitely don't do that.
It's purely because the card art fits with the bond. The Blaze is carrying the bunny.
Oh my god. Wait, and then. Yeah, the bond, and I'm also realizing, right, with the little angry note on on Amiya's head. It's like, she's not the kind of person who would just go off on like a temper tantrum that would get like violent because of that. But it is funny that it bonds to the level 3 Wrathful Flame. And that is debatably a card that you'd also maybe want to see in your hand if you need healing. So like, I can see it
Yeah,
either
like
way.
the pincer is fine. Like even standby, you usually only stand by 1 or 2 of it, maybe. The ones, yeah, that's the real nonsensical one. That's what also reminded me of Mushoku as well, because basically the same situations. Like, yeah, bond to the 1/1 that you will never play from your hand, like in this, especially in a gimmick deck like this. Very good idea.
There is a use case for that, but there's better ways to get it to your hand if you're going to do that. Anyway, moving right along.
Yeah, I guess if you have it in your hand for something, maybe it's better.
Yeah.
If the card is good enough already to play, I guess.
So this is calls it Everyday Life. There's there's Project Wet Red back there. Little Awu. We'll see here in set 2. She is a 500 global for all of the usual traits. On play, you can pitch the trade character to draw a card.
Yeah, this is an actual, like, I would expect to see this in a trial deck. Actually. Yeah, I don't know, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, I couldn't afford Toka double filter, so we had to step it down. And this card exists as a common in the set it's from. Next card. This is Rosemontis.
Yeah.
Say, don't worry, she's not gonna remember that you stole her snacks. Why would you steal her snacks, you monster? When your other trade character attacks, she gets 1k till end of turn, and when she's reversed, reveal the top card of your deck. If that's a trade character, put in your hand, choose a card in your hand, put in your waiting room. Schwartz, have you seen the line that inspired this card?
No, I haven't.
There is
Unfortunately.
somewhere in her operator profile, they say something like this. Yeah, her equipment's not on her. No need to worry about remembering you stole her snacks yesterday. Probably.
Oh, I see.
Like,
that.
this is canon event that the doctor does this? What a fucking monster. How can you steal this cat girl
Bruh.
snacks? So sad. But yeah, outside of that, it's just kind of Rosemontes being cute. No real flavor connection there.
And my question is, why is this only reverse?
Because it exists somewhere. That's about all I can give you.
I
It's
guess
a
it's funny.
Dal card apparently.
Like, I guess I think about it more. I guess it is a little funny because you can potentially scam cancels with that timing. But I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, yeah, Now the thought of that, I kind of wanna like design some sort of stupid packets around doing this over and over somehow. But that's not this.
Yeah, something like this with the my brain is
Usually
going too
it's
many
on
directions.
play.
Yeah. Get my brain back on track. Next card. Which doesn't have nearly as much commentary on it. This is Rosemontes on a good day. Very simple. She gives opponents Encore 2.
Yeah,
She won't be doing that in the future. And when she triggers a door, it's a salvage.
Honestly, I don't know. You already use this profile in green. Like this is just a copy pasted profile. You put it in a different color, basically.
Yes.
I'm not sure about that, but yeah, again, this is a C for cope, in my opinion.
The door getting one of these in future, there are actually like 8 door decks, and this card like pops up a little bit more often as like a level 0 you can run in that. But yeah. Next card. Counts it. Self-medication. Because she does not let other people give her medical exams for reasons you will find out if you play the game. 2k backup. That is, if all your characters are the usual trait combo, you can put the top card of your deck into your stock. This is a card that was updated fairly recently. Maybe not that recently, actually. I know that they've. This is another Dow card. Never mind.
This existed for a long while. Like I always thought it was really good, but people didn't catch on to it until basically exactly Spy Family, as far as I know. I always used to vouch that this is just straight up better than the 102Ks in my opinion. Like it has a soul trigger and it cleans your stock, and as long as you're not a pessimist like some people, it's also basically giving you higher chances of canceling all baked into one. So in my opinion, this is like a super good counter just in general. For me, this is a B, not just for backup.
Yeah, I mean, if you know that you've got
Then yeah,
a
but
fairly decompressed deck and you know that you're playing against the odds, that would have been a climax, sure, but
no, I think in general, like personally, I think this is really good. Like I don't know, people now have got onto it because Spy Family like has the setup where they always know it's not a climax, or they feel like, oh, now it's good. Yeah, I'm like, you don't think about it, but most of the time you're not hitting a climax. Like it's very rare that this hits a climax. Like that's the bad situation, but like most cards in this game have like random bad situations.
true.
So as far as I see it, like it's basically as long as you're not a pessimist, this card is insane as far as I'm concerned. Like in all of my sets, I have not made a single 1-0 2K backup because I was always like, this is just better. I'm just giving you this instead.
Fair enough.
Okay, that's just my maybe controversial opinion.
All right. This is a Mia Fleeting Knight. This is the Ayame Mia because I love this profile.
Back like in the caveman days, they found wall paintings of cavemen playing exactly this card in their standby deck.
And I totally still do.
Like
I play this card over Polka in the Hololive 8 standby. I am a mad lad. The only tournament that I have won was the locals where I played Aski Choco, and this card was like my backbone because it's just so simple. Polka's like, oh yeah, you salvage your level 0. It's like, yeah, well, guess who doesn't have hand on core? Polka, and I love Polka, but not enough to play her more than the Sayame. Got the profile and
I don't
Hololive.
know. This is the classics. I don't know. You can't beat the classics sometimes.
You just can't. It's so simple but effective. I wish I remember why I picked this art though. I knew that there was a separation that I went into between a Mia with a sword and Mia not with a sword, because we are not anywhere near done with a Mia cards for this set. But other than just it's another art of her with a sword. Anyway, we can continue forward. Because it is a card, and it is. Anyway, this is Blaze, drinking the Doctor into a stupor. Sorry, drinking him under. During your opponent's turn, when this card becomes reversed in battle, you can pitch a card to rest it. At the beginning of your next Encore step, put this card in your waiting room. If it said memory, it would work a little bit better with the Prismatis, but that's neither here nor there. She also is, at the beginning of your Climax phase, you can reveal the level 3 Blaze finisher to give her 6k till end of turn.
Okay, so we have another Tokyo Avengers profile right here. Yeah, I mean, this one didn't catch on as well, but again, it goes back to what I said. They were very bold. They were like, we're not going to give you the simple 2 to 10K to play. We're giving you a bunch of stupid ideas we had, like, when we were during our lunch break. And we're going to see which of them sticks. And this is one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
So I like it just for that because it's part of sort of the goated design philosophy of Tokyo Revengers. But the card itself is a bit too specific to work most of the time.
Which is
So
why it's not going to stay like that. I appreciate Tokyo Revengers for trying. This was a miss, and I will not be carrying that miss over into my own set.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the fun thing about the set is exactly all of the experimenting it did. But obviously, people remember the good experiments.
Yeah.
But I also have all of the failed ones in my heart.
All right, last card for red. Which means last card for this episode. Blaze Boiling Burst, the literal example of this skill being activated. 2/3, 10k free soul. When this becomes reversed in battle, put the top card of your deck into your clock and arrest it. This is a card that has been printed a few times.
This effect is called Zombie.
Specifically, this 2/3 profile has been printed a couple of times.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they've printed, some stuff like this. Yeah. You just die and you keep coming back whether you want it or not. So you're a zombie. That's why they call it that. And it's very funny because even though this is technically a good effect, I guess, because it's mandatory, they consider it a downside.
Yep.
Which is why you're getting the extra third soul.
And you know what sucks? When you get reversed and your opponent is using Clock Kick as a combo, and so
yeah, you still
just
get
take
to
free damage.
Clock. Yes.
It's so good. But yeah, it's the third skill. As far as I'm concerned, Shorts. Is that about where the plus comes from?
Is it? Is it?
Oh.
I don't know.
But the level 3 card was that.
Yeah, this is the literal version. The other one also was, just less literally. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean,
wait.
I put it a question mark because she does have an actual in-game passive where she heals herself when she drops below a certain HP. Not literally a zombie, but yeah.
Yeah, she has this basically like a defibrillator that like you knock her down and then she's like, I'm not done yet. And she just keeps going. And if you pump enough healing at her, like she just doesn't die. She's just unkillable. Which is why she's on standby as well. Because that's just the perfect trigger for her. She is a standby coded character at her core, which is also at some level why
it's fun. Like it's very fun, like to make those threes like that you're supposed to play in standby, like because it sounds so dirty sometimes. Like, oh, we can do something really insane because the 2/3, but usually that's a being just a simple card.
Yeah.
You usually just you give it less effects because it has more power. That's usually what ends up happening.
With that, we have reached the end of red. There is one color left. Blue coming up shortly.